Welcome to the A Monday Moment with Dr. Mal podcast, where each week I, Dr. Mal, share life lessons and motivation to kickstart your Monday. Whether you're starting your day or winding down, join me or me and my future guest for a burst of positivity and a fresh perspective. Let's make Mondays meaningful together. Greetings and happy Monday, everyone. I'm your host, Dr. Mallory D. McCoy, and welcome to this week's episode of A Monday Moment with Dr. Mal. As always, may this broadcast bring you what you need in the present moment. May my light exude positivity and kindness, and may my love be extended to all who could use a little extra. Ashe. Let's seize the moment. My gratitude section this week is going to be real quick and easy. First of all, how about those Chiefs? Even though they didn't win the Super Bowl, they gave us a good show. If you're a Chiefs fan, you're a Chiefs fan for life, whether they win or lose. So watching them get to the national stage and not show their very best effort, but still represent for Kansas City, Missouri, as they have been. It's been incredible, and congratulations to the organization for getting to the Super Bowl, and congratulations to the Eagles and the Eagles fans for their win. So that's pretty cool. I'm grateful this week for a safe place to exist with my family. We were nice and cozy in the house, and we got to watch one of the greatest halftime shows. Look, it was a concert, and the halftime show was the main feature. In saying that, I'm grateful for art. As a creator myself in multiple avenues, I have a deep appreciation for art. And what we witnessed as a society, Kendrick Lamar, if you haven't watched it, you should watch it. Just go and search for that performance and witness the literary excellence that the whole halftime show was. I mean, I have to watch it a few times. I think even as a researcher myself, I'm like, somebody could write a dissertation. The amount of symbolism that was a part of the halftime show was too much to take in when you first watch it. And so I'm going to have to go back and watch it multiple times, but it was just incredible. And it speaks to why Kendrick Lamar is a Pulitzer Prize winner, because he goes beyond just the surface level. It was just way too deep. It was way too deep. I'm still processing it today, and I hope to process it with the general public when I get online today. For this week's episode, we are diving into something that will change every single relationship you have. Let me ask you a question real quick. How well do you know you? Well, beyond your job title, beyond your relationship status, beyond your responsibilities, because societally, this is something that we lead with. We often lead with what we do, what our relationship status is, and our responsibilities, and even what people expect of us. And so outside of those things, how well do you know you? If you've never taken the time to cultivate your garden of wellness, we're going to get to it today, because self-love is not just bubble baths and spa days, although those are important, and I love me a good spa day. It's learning to love yourself in solitude before you try to show up for anybody else. And you already know I love me some good definitions, and I'm team facts over feelings, so let's get into it. There's some definitions that I would like for you to know before talking about this topic. The first definition that I want to talk about is solitude. What is that? Solitude is a state of being or living alone. So it literally is just how we are right now. Right now, I'm recording in solitude. No one is around me. It's just me. So I'm enjoying this state of solitude because here I am with you. Loneliness, however, is affected with, characterized by, or causing a depressing feeling of being alone. So loneliness is the feeling that someone can have when they are in solitude. But if you detach loneliness from solitude, that means that there's other feelings that you can have in solitude. Keep that in mind. And then love is defined by the dictionary as a strong feeling of warm personal attachment or deep affection, such as for a parent, child, friend, or pet, and can also be defined as a sexual passion or desire. But in my spiritual path, I've learned to define love as a state of being. If God is love and I'm a part of God, then I am love. Self-love. Self-love is the instinct by which one's actions are directed to the promotion of one's own welfare or well-being, especially in excessive regard for one's own advantage. I don't know if I agree with that in its totality, because sometimes we can look at the word excessive and have a negative connotation to it or a negative understanding of it. In fact, the definition does use conceit and narcissism as synonyms to describe self-love, but those terms actually define extreme forms of vanity. Self-love I'm talking about is where you get to fill your cup up before filling others' cups up. The one where you give yourself oxygen before you give others oxygen, the airplane scenario. And self-love is not selfish, it's survival. It's the foundation of how you show up in your life for yourself and for others. Here are some facts about self-love and people who practice self-love. People who practice self-love are healthier. Research found that self-compassion is linked to lower stress, healthier habits, and better mental well-being. So if you truly love yourself, or when you truly love yourself, you naturally make choices that support your well-being, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Self-love boosts confidence in relationships. Studies show that people who develop a strong sense of self-worth have healthier relationships because they aren't looking for others to validate them. When you love you, you attract connections that reflect the same energy. I feel that 110%. Self-love, like I said earlier, does impact mental health, and here's how it does. Practicing self-compassion reduces anxiety and depression specifically, making you more emotionally resilient. I love that. Your brain benefits from self-love, and here's how. Neuroscientists found that self-affirmations activate the brain's reward system, releasing feel-good chemicals like dopamine. So yes, hyping yourself up in the mirror and speaking love over yourself actually rewires your brain for positivity. And I 100% feel that. Like, I write affirmations on my mirror and I speak them as I'm getting ready every day. Loving yourself makes you more resilient. When you have a strong foundation of self-love, you're better equipped to handle life's up and downs. You bounce back quicker from setbacks because you know your worth isn't tied to your mistakes or circumstances. And this is not something that I always knew. Personally, pick me. As a recovering people pleaser, I did not always know that my mistakes weren't actually a reflection of me. It was just me being human. And my worth was certainly tied to all the things that I did, including making the mistakes and including being in circumstances or different circumstances. So, yes. In my wisdom, in my older self, I now know that loving yourself does make you more resilient and helps you to move through those times of unsurety and times of mistakes, because we're human and we make mistakes. So because of all these factors, it's important to know, and this is what my main message is for today. The relationship with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship in your life, platonic or romantic or friendly. When you love yourself, you set a high standard for how others treat you. You're less likely to tolerate toxic relationships, mistreatment, or environments that drain your peace, the peace that you cultivate in yourself, because nobody can give you peace. You give yourself peace. So you see, self-love is a whole lifestyle, has to be. It's not just a quick thing you do when you're feeling down. So let's take this deeper and talk about the topic of the week. In the week, because this is airing right before the pagan holiday Valentine's Day, which, since I decided to give up supporting holidays that perpetuate the capitalist train, and keep it going. Valentine's Day is not something that I celebrate formally. Every day is a day to love. And so this is happening during Valentine's Day week, but you don't have to wait for somebody else to love you. The most important relationship you'll ever have is the one that you have with yourself. I want you to sit in this truth right now. You are your longest relationship. You are your longest relationship. From birth to death, you are with you. That means before you're able to pour into anybody else, before you actually pour into anybody else, before you jump into a relationship, a friendship, or a new job, you have to make sure you're good. I got to skim read the first part of Jay Shetty's The 8 Rules of Love book. And like I said, it really spoke to me. He talks about in the book the 4 ashrams of love, which are essentially schools of learning for different phases of love. And what's the first one? The first one is preparing for love. And how he tells us we should prepare for love is by sitting in solitude. Let me read to you what he says. He says, we need to understand ourselves, to heal our own pain, and to care for ourselves. We acquire skills like compassion, empathy, and patience. This prepares us to share love because we'll need these qualities when we love someone else. We'll need these qualities when we love ourselves. I'm going to add that because, of course, if you're able to show compassion, empathy, and patience to yourself, then you're able to show that to others. But a lot of us jump into relationships unprepared. We haven't healed from past situations. We haven't forgiven ourselves for mistakes. We don't even know what we need in a partner, let alone what we have to offer, or even know what we need from ourselves. Okay? But solitude is the space where this all gets worked out, because it's where you can figure out your triggers. It's where you can build your confidence, and it's where you can learn to enjoy your own company so you don't settle for company that doesn't serve you. And if you struggle with solitude or sitting with yourself makes you uncomfortable, that's exactly why you need it. Just a personal anecdote. I have spent a lot of my adult life being the spouse of a military person, and we've gone through 2-year deployments, and we also have gone through, they have active training in the summertime, 2 weeks at a time, different schools, officer training school, 5 months, all these times. And before the first time that I had to go through deployment, I had never spent a lot of time by myself. I'm the oldest of 6 children, but even though I lived apart from my 4 younger siblings, even in my own home where I lived, there was always people. You're never by yourself. And then I was in show choir and band, and I was in a lot of group things, and I spent a lot of time with people. And I did not realize that I hadn't spent a lot of time with myself. So I really got a lesson in solitude by being forced into solitude relationally. I would say that I got even better at being in solitude by the second time of deployment, because that's a whole year. That's a whole year you miss out on someone's lives. But I didn't know that I needed that time. And it's hard at first. It's hard because you're literally healing a mindset, but you learn as you move through it. And I would be remiss to say also, while talking about this, that your wellness is multidimensional. Just like I spoke about in the last episode, inner balance is key, and you cannot get balanced unless you are tapped into all the energies inside of you. That's a part of self-love. With my business partner, Aisha, and our business, Bell's Garden, we created our customized curriculums that center around what we call the Garden of Wellness, which combines the idea of the 8 dimensions of wellness and the chakra energy centers. The Garden of Wellness isn't just about how you feel emotionally, it's about how your entire life is flowing. And like I said, there are 8 different elements, starting with the environmental element. Is your environment peaceful or chaotic? A way that you can show yourself love is ensuring that your environment is as peaceful. A peaceful environment helps your nervous system to be in its most natural, regulated state. Your physical element. So are you treating your body with love? What does it look like to treat your body with love? Being mindful of what that looks like or what that feels like. What does it look like? What does it feel like? All the senses. The creative element is the next one. Are you making space to create and express yourself? Listen, we live in a left brain society where we are always in our logical mind, where, that's the capitalistic train that I was talking about. It's go to work, come home, feed the kids, do the laundry, all the stuff, go to sleep, wake up, do it again. We are literally robots. A lot of us are robots. And so are you making space to just be? Are you making space to activate your right brain by being creative? Oh, next one, occupational and financial element. Are you secure in your career and money mindset? If this is off, then your whole self can be off. Pick me. I've talked about it in a few episodes. I struggle with the financial element. And so, yes, are you secure in that? Because if you're not, that can be a point of self-love that you can move into, just becoming more financially competent. Becoming more financially competent and then making a plan that can certainly help out to enhance this element. Your emotional element. Are you taking time to regulate and express your feelings? I know we attach our emotions to our heart center, and that's where it lies. Are you taking the time to take care of your heart and listen to your heart? Our social element. Are you surrounding yourself with people that pour into you? Even you. Are you using your throat chakra to communicate love to others and communicate love to yourself? Spiritual element. Are you grounding yourself in a faith? Are you grounding yourself in prayer, meditation, or whatever keeps you aligned? And lastly, your intellectual element. Are you continually learning, growing, and expanding? All of these are important to be balanced in order to fully be in a space where you can show yourself love. And remember, self-love isn't a luxury. It's a foundation. It's something that you're supposed to do. So now that we know solitude is a must and self-love is a lifestyle, here's what I want you to do this week. Number one, if you are not used to spending time in solitude, I would encourage you to be intentional about spending time in solitude. Go out alone or do something you genuinely love that's not attached to anybody else. Okay? No phone distractions, no calling somebody, fight the urge, just you and yourself. Jay Shetty says in his book, solitude is the beginning of love. So this is that we have to master being in solitude. So get real comfortable. And it's not going to be this week that you get real comfortable, but make it a practice. Number two, self-reflect on your self-love journey by journaling. The following prompts you can ask yourself, or just even thinking about it out loud. Who am I when no one else is watching? So when no one else is watching, who are you? What parts of myself do I need to nurture more? And how can I honor my needs without guilt? That's a good one, especially for all the moms in the room that might be listening, because it's hard to find that balance, because you want to make sure your kids are okay. And I shouldn't single out moms, dads too, but mostly moms. I don't know about you, but my son will walk right past his daddy and come straight to me. And I'm like, you got a whole daddy over there. So how do you honor your needs without guilt? And then lastly, go through those elements in the Garden of Wellness and decide for yourself what needs watering and which ones are flourishing. Do you like my garden analogies? Since my business is Bill's Garden, I'm all about garden analogy. But yeah, look at the garden of your soul and determine where you need to draw more attention to and which ones are already flourishing. After I quit teaching, this is the conclusion I came to. You cannot pour from an empty cup. But even more importantly than that, you should never do that. So to wrap up today's episode, I'm going to leave you with a quote and a list of affirmations. The quote is very simple, and of course, it's a garden analogy. Keep watering yourself, you're growing, by E. Russell. And then our 10 affirmations for this week that have to do with self-love are the following. I am worthy of my own love and care. Solitude is where I meet my truest self. I am growing into the best version of me. I honor my boundaries and I protect my peace, baby. We're protecting our peace in 2025. I am learning, healing, and evolving every day. I am a priority in my own life. Yes, you are. My happiness is not dependent on others. Let that sink in. I attract love by loving myself first. Attract love by loving yourself first. I love that. My energy is sacred and I protect it fiercely. And then I am enough just as I am. You are enough just as you are. We are enough just as we are. Say those out loud and let them sink in like a lotion on your ashiest day. Well, that's all for me this week. I'm forever honored that you tune in and continue to tune in and entertain my antics. And if you take anything away from today's episode, let it be this. Self-love is not optional. It is foundational. So go out there, take care of yourself, water your garden of wellness, and remember, you are worthy of the love you so freely give to others. February's shows are dedicated to relating externally and internally, so expect another show about relating next week. So this show and last week's show was about relating to yourself, and next week's show will be about how you relate to others. There's a subject I've been intrigued about because it's a hot topic, if you will, right now. And I can't wait to share with you what that topic is. It's so hot, I can't even share it with you today. In the meantime, visit my website, When Mallory Lives, if you need any of my services, which include tarot, astrology. If you need me to help you through a situation, I'm here to help. Click on the link, how can I help you? And whoop, there it is, it's right there. So until then, love and peace to all of you. Have the best week. Thank you for tuning in for a Monday Moment with Dr. Mal, now proudly a part of the Alive Podcast Network. You can find this show on the Live Podcast Network website and app, and you can find this podcast streaming across your favorite podcast streaming platforms. If you love to have the visual, you can tune into my YouTube channel, When Mallory Lives, to see this show and catch up on all my shows from the beginning.